Once again, welcome to my world. Before I get started talking about the rest of the process of the conditional acceptance and how to get paid, I thought a little bit about it, and I figured I better kind of give a brief history of how this came about. I had a friend, and he was real quick when it came to the law. He's a retired federal judge, by the way, and I was having some problems with child support issue. Like I said in previous videos, I had an ex-wife who gave my children to her aunt and uncle to raise, and for 16, 18 years, something like that, I was going back and forth to child support court. Yeah, right. And through this whole process, I was constantly telling these referees, hey, she doesn't even keep the kids. She don't keep the kids. And they didn't want to hear it. Finally I had a referee, or my ex-wife admitted in front of this referee that in fact she hadn't been keeping the kids, and that she was living in Knoxville, which is 2 counties away, and with her boyfriend, getting TennCare and food stamps, and going to pain management, and riding the train. And I don't mind anybody doing that. I just get it if you can. But she wasn't taking care of the kids. She even told the judge, well, I take spaghetti over there, make a pot of spaghetti and take it over there. So when this administrator heard her say this, she basically said, you don't have to pay anymore, Mr. Hauser, you're done. Then my ex-wife appealed it to the circuit court, and when I went in front of this Judge Vance, he's dead now, by the way, he basically told me, hey, if you're not paying child support, then nobody's paying child support, somebody's paying child support. So I'm going to put this back on you. And I'd been fed up going in and out and trying to fight this stuff. And I just got incredibly fed up with it. That was the second time that I dropped it. I'm not doing this crap anymore. I just pay her, and, she'll get what's coming to her anyway. But I spoke with this friend of mine, and I told him, I'm not getting any kind of right rule from this child support enforcement group, agency, and and how stressful it was. I'm paying this lady, and I've got minor children of my own that could use the money that she's using to keep her boyfriend up. So he said, well, you ought to just send everybody a conditional acceptance. I said, well, okay, what is it? And he said, write down the facts. He said, go home and lay down all of your paperwork that you've got over the years from child support enforcement, put it in chronological order, and write up the facts. I said, okay. So I did that, and I emailed them to him, and he emailed me the facts back where he'd changed some things and changed the way things were said, and he had it in red, and he said, just change it to black if you agree with it. So I did, and I sent it back to him. Well, he sent me back a rough draft of what a conditional acceptance looks like. And he said, just go ahead and send this to him certified mail. So, okay, I'll do it. And I did it. And then I came back to him later on, and at this time I was doing trust law. It's the only law that you can practice without a license. because basically all you're doing is writing up the trust and entering it into the record. So, and I was doing trust law at the time, and he's retired. Like I said, he's a retired federal judge. And so I contacted him back, and I said, we do this to them and everything, but how do we get paid? He said, well, I never, really put much into that, how to get paid. And basically, you're using this to bias them. It doesn't matter if you ever collect or not. I said, well, we need to get paid. I mean, if we're going to tell somebody that they owe us $6 million, how do you get paid? He said, well, you're the trust guy. Why don't you figure that out? So he said, I'll call you back in a couple of weeks. And I was thinking, I thought on this hard, straining my brain over this. And I woke up in the middle of the night, man, and just like that, here's what we do. We send them once we send them the conditional acceptance, I called him back and he said, dang, that was quick. I called him back and I said, hey, man, I'm going to shoot this to you and you tell me what you think. He said, okay. And I was like, hey, here's what we'll do. We'll send them another thing by the postal rule, which will be a notice of claim a lien. I'll create a letterhead, and we'll notarize it, and we'll send it to them. Okay, you've been noticed. I said, we really don't need to do that because the conditional acceptance is a notice. It is a notice, hey, there's a lien. This is a claim. This is not only is a conditional acceptance, it's a claim of lien. And I said, then what we'll do is we'll assign it to the Treasury. We'll create another document, an assignment document. And then what we'll do is we'll take this stuff and we can use these tax paperwork, the 1040V, the 1096, the 1099A, and the 1099 OID. I said, and we'll use these. We'll create lien securities with these tax documents, and because there's no other way to do it, we'll do it without prejudice. I said, then what we can do is assign this debt to the United States Treasury. And I talked with him about it for a little bit, and he's like, well, what we really ought to do is use this to, because he had been doing this for a couple of years for people, just to get the leeches off of their backs. He was doing this for all kinds of different folks. I said, well, let's try this. He said, if we're going to do that, we might as well just do the UCC1, which is a financing statement, and then we'll do the UCC3 as an assignment document. Then we'll send it on to the Treasury. And I said, I don't know if we really need to do that. He said, oh, yeah, if we do that, then they're on notice. They'll be noticed rather quickly when they try to borrow money or sell their property or something like that. This will show up on their credit report. I said, well, okay, you're the one that brought me into this. We'll do it your way. So we did that, and once we created the lien securities and had the UCC1s as an assignment document, we could create a contract using the postal rule with the Secretary of the United States Treasury. And in that contract with the Treasury, I think I got one here. In the contract with the Treasury, the language in that contract basically says, well, I'm not even trying to look for it right now to take time. Basically, in the contract with the Treasury, you're assigning the debt to the Treasury. 100% is going to the Treasury. But under the contract, you're giving them 35% for collecting, which is a little bit more than what rich people pay in regular taxes. So, well, they know how to get around it. They pay zero. But the way it's supposed to work anyway. So we create this contract with the Treasury that says, here it is. You have ownership of 100% of this millions of dollars. Under the contract, that if you collect, you get 35%. And the language in that contract also states that if there's anything wrong with the lien securities, that they have our power of attorney to correct the lien securities, or if they wish, they can send them back to us. And then what we can do is correct them under their advisement. Tell us what is wrong and how to fix it, and we'll do it. We'll send them back to you. You have 30 days. So the same application, contractual application that applies to the conditional acceptance, also applies to the contract that you create with the United States Treasury. And you'll send them certified mail. You're going to get a signature card back, and you got 30. We tell them you got 30 days. Well, we didn't hear from them in 30 days. That either means that if there was anything wrong with the lien securities, they fixed it, or there wasn't nothing wrong with them. And the Treasury transferred the lien securities to the IRS, and the IRS collects. That's their job. So where we were at with that, there's a little more detail into it, and getting all this stuff prepared. And if you're still interested, I'll work with you. But like I said, you cannot be shaky. The only mistake that we made with the conditional acceptance and the lien securities to the Treasury was using the UCC1 and the UCC3. Because of that, when they got us, when they kidnapped us all, they used the only evidence that they had at trial was the UCC1s, and that's what they were claiming was a lien. When in fact, if you Google it, Google's will say a UCC1 is not a lien. It's a notice of a debt. It's a notice that there may be a debt. And that's what they allegedly convinced an alleged jury, to find us guilty of. That's also what they claimed we forged. And so if we would have disregarded the UCC1s and the 3s, like I originally explained that we should do, the state would have had no evidence against us to even get a bogus indictment like they claimed they had. Because that was the only evidence that they had, was the filing, the UCC1 filing. And so if we would have done like I said, and that's the way, when I got to prison, I was teaching conditional acceptance my way, which disregarded any kind of state action, giving them any right to do what they do. So what I would have done, and what we're doing now, is we're using the UC or the conditional acceptance as a notice of claim of lien. I just added into that, into the UCC1. Hey, this is your notice of claim of lien. If you don't meet the conditions in 10 days, this is your notice of claim of lien. And then we can turn around, instead of using a UCC1 filing number like we were getting, and attaching that filing number to the UCC3, we use the contract number from the conditional acceptance. Then what I did is I drafted up an assignment document. It was real simple, man. This is an assignment document. This is what it's doing. And then we sent the conditional acceptance, a copy, well, the original conditional, a copy of the conditional acceptance and the original signature cards. You'll make copies and keep your own signature cards, but the originals will go with the filings, the IRS filings. That's the way we were doing it from prison, and there wasn't nothing the state could do. And I'll get into a little more detail how we did this through the prison when I get around to the prison video. The next video that I'm going to make is going to be on what happened with the conditional acceptance and the liens and what the state has done. It's really fascinating if you're into seeing how things work and seeing how far this corrupt government will go to get their way. And I promise you, if you listen to the next video, the video of me explaining what happened to us, you're gonna get a really good example of what corruption does and how it does to those so-called righteous folks that think they're so high and mighty, and how they're brought down low. This situation with us is bringing them down. And I'll give you just a little bite of what's coming next. What Tennessee said that we did was illegal. The federal government is saying it's not. The lien securities that we sent to the federal government, the federal courts agree that they are genuine filings and that they have value. So stick around for the next video. I'm going to break it down. And then I think after that, I'm going to do a video on the effect that the conditional acceptance has in the prison. And then I want to do one on a thing that we're doing now, a new thing that we're doing now in the prison. While I was in prison, what I did while I was in prison, that's a real interesting story too. But for now, peace and blessings, and have a great evening.